India has enough energy based on its thorium reserves to power itself for 60,000 years. Thorium is 4 times more abundant than uranium, and India holds the world reserves close to 30%. India is one of the world's leading researchers in trying to use uranium to eventually fuel plutonium and thorium-based reactors. How close are we to this limitless supply of energy? And will India be one of the world's leading exporters of smaller reactors based on our own indigenous research to supply friendly countries in their own energy needs?
Hi sir, thank you for giving us the interview. Please give a brief introduction of yourself and a little bit about your background in this somewhat complex topic of nuclear energy.
My name is Rajiv Nayan. I have done my doctorate from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and I have been working on science and technology issues, especially nuclear science and technology issues from the perspective of indigenization and India's security. So for this region, I have been looking into nuclear energy and how it has been helping India's quest for not only self-reliance in nuclear field but also in its security.
Yeah. So for many years, Homi Bhabha had the vision to create a 3-stage program that would lead India to limitless energy. Sir, India has already been running experimental reactors in all 3 stages for decades. Please tell us a little bit about how India plans to build up its uranium reactor to create plutonium and then to finally using thorium to create energy.
Look, as you have mentioned, 3 stages. The first stage is already functional, and in this stage we are using uranium, natural uranium, and thereafter the spent fuel will be used for the second stage, that is for fast breeder reactor. So we have already got several reactors operational. Around 21 reactors are operational. One is still has been just suspended for maintenance purpose. We have almost developed fast breeder reactor, but it has not been commissioned or it has not been made fully functional. But soon it will become functional. The scientists, the safety people are just testing its safety parameters, because this will be a unique reactor being operational in the world. Its technology has already been demonstrated. So what is going to happen is its full-fledged commercial operation, which no country in the world has done so far. So that's why we are extra cautious, extra careful, because it will set a paradigm, it will set a new precedence, it will set a new example to the world, and for that that's why we are careful. So once this first prototype becomes functional, very soon we can have 4 reactors ready. All its structure is already ready, and the moment one is given green light, then the other 3 will be assembled. And what has happened in the nuclear reactor field, the first reactor takes time, the second reactor is assembled very quickly. Say for example, if the first reactor takes 12 to 14 years, you will find that the next reactor, second reactor, third reactor and fourth reactor in the same category will be assembled within 3 to 4 years. So we can see that the other 3 reactors will be functional very soon. The moment it becomes functional, then it will solve the India's problem of uranium. Fast breeder reactors will be breeding the same amount of uranium what it is consuming. So in that way we will become somewhat self-reliant in uranium fuel. So this is another. Now coming to the third stage. Even third stage has got its prototype ready, but unless we have got mass production at the stage 2, it is not advisable to just make the third stage functional. But the moment second stage becomes fully functional, means lots of fuel is produced from that stage, then India will start going to the third stage, and that will become kind of not only will we start producing renewable energy in nuclear sector. So this is the significance of this.
Yeah. Sir, in 2011, vast reservoirs of uranium fuel were discovered in Andhra in the Tumapalli uranium mine, which could make also India the number one producer of uranium in the world. Please tell us little bit about this mine.
Look, this is a complex subject. With the advancement of technology, you will find uranium reserves getting explored and discovered. So when we started exploring uranium, then we could not detect many of the reserves which were already lying in many parts of the world, about many parts of the country. Even in the Jaduguda complex, which has been producing or which has been supplying uranium to the Indian nuclear installations, discovered many of its reserves much later. By then, population had settled down and it became difficult to just mine those areas. So, Atomic Mineral Division Directorate is active in exploring and providing reserves. It is not 2011, but for long we have been exploring the uranium reserves, and all over the country we are finding it, even in Rajasthan, in Uttarakhand, in Uttar Pradesh, in Meghalaya, everywhere it has been found. We somehow could not open our Meghalaya mine because of certain problems, some protests, but it also has very good reserve. Tambanpalle has also got good reserve, but it has been commissioned and operation and exploration has begun. It's not completely started, but it will be there. Jadugoda also had several mines, but not all mines were functional. So later, many mines were opened and they started producing, or you can say, our Uranium Corporation of India Limited started mining the uranium from new mines also, and these mines are supplying uranium to our indigenous sector, and it will not be safeguarded. So this is one point. Second point, as for the largest uranium supplier, or will it make us self-reliant? So that is a completely different case, because our uranium is not of very good quality. Unlike Australia and other countries, if they break a ton of uranium, they may get 20 kg of uranium, but if we break 1 ton of uranium, we can get not more than 400 gram of uranium. So this is the difference between the Indian uranium ore and the uranium ore of other leading suppliers, leading uranium countries. So I think we should not get into the quality and self-reliance. We are exploring, we are engaging the world, and we are asking the supplier countries to make a uranium reserve, fuel reserve, and they are agreeing to it. And we have also got plan to have the, you can say, fuel grade, means fuel grade in the sense that what will go to the reactor, U2O2, that level of uranium reserve, and all the suppliers have been asked to do that. So there will not be uranium problems for all the all the reactors which are being supplied by outside countries, but for our indigenous sector and for strategic sectors, we may use our indigenous sources coming from different places, and I think there is enough for our needs, and so there is nothing to get worried about. We have already signed contract with Australia, with Canada, with some Central Asian countries, with Russia, with France, and all these countries are supplying or going to supply uranium for Indian civil nuclear energy purposes. So that part is well taken care of.
Yeah. So please tell us about the benefit with regard to safety and the environmental benefits as well, in comparing thorium-based fuel to uranium-based fuel for energy.
Look, whether it is uranium-based fuel or whether it is thorium-based fuel, we are adhering to the global standard for safety and and all security. So there is nothing to get worried about whether it is uranium or it is thorium. Both are there, both are environmental friendly, and that's why the whole world, even the countries which had once abandoned the nuclear sources of energy, are going to come back to, are going to rely on uranium, or you can say nuclear reactors. So United States is one prime example where there is a big debate, and recently Bill Gates also in his 31st December address asked the world to look into the nuclear option, which is nuclear energy option for saving environment. So the debate has begun all over the world, and they are being asked to look into the environmental side, the safety side. One Fukushima should not affect the perception of the world. Fukushima it did not kill even one person, but bad publicity it gave to nuclear energy needs to be countered, and this is what is being talked about all over.
Yeah. So do you think that India may be able to export electricity to not only its neighbor but even to Middle Eastern countries that will soon completely exhaust their own reserves of oil with no future outcome?
Look, the way we are maturing our nuclear technology and nuclear reactor, I don't discount or I don't rule it out completely. Already we have mastered smaller reactors in 540 megawatt, and now 700 megawatt is being constructed. Considering this, we can say that we can supply cheap reactor to the world which looks nuclear energy, and we have been now following all the international laws and regulations for supplying it. We are a responsible country, and in fact our smaller reactor will be quite useful for countries which have got island countries, especially which have got a smaller grid. Once you have got a smaller grid, the available reactors in the market, which are generally 1000 megawatt plus, could not be very useful for them. So India may have to do some kind of, I will not say aggressive marketing, but proper marketing for its tested and cheap reactors in pressurized heavy water category. So I think I am quite hopeful about that. Regarding West Asia, or you can generally in Western category it is called Middle East, these countries have also coming out in favor of nuclear energy despite being energy rich countries, and some of the Arab countries and Gulf countries in fact commissioned a study, a feasibility study for developing nuclear energy, and they have started also. United Arab Emirates has already given order to the Korean consortium. Saudi Arabia is also showing interest, and recently in November 2018 it launched 2 reactors, although it had a plan to have 17 to 18 reactors, but just now it has begun with 2 reactors. There are 5-6 countries which have shown interest in developing Saudi reactors. United States for a long period was the front runner, and it worked with with Saudi Arabia. France worked with Saudi Arabia quite closely in developing its master plan. But now, as the reports are coming that Saudi Arabia is exploring a different route, different avenues, and it is looking towards China and Russia, which is causing flutters in the United States. So it has a new dimension now. But the point is that yes, it is also interested. It is showing interest. Other Arab countries may also go for nuclear energy, because they are arguing that not the depletion of resources, oil or gas, but environment. But just because of environment, they are thinking of exploring this alternative route. So this is the situation. India may have, just now India is not pitching for the Middle East market, but once it develops its own, say, 1000 plus megawatt reactors, it may also jump in the fray, because it takes time. This market, this nuclear energy reactor market, takes time to really fructify. So by then India should also be ready with its reactors, indigenous reactors, and master UA. At least in the category of pressurized heavy water reactor, India should not have problem. It may also help the countries with its fast breeder reactor, because both countries, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, both have renounced to reprocess, or for that matter even enrich uranium. So because of this region, if India comes out with its fast breeder reactor, it sets up and it continues to have its reprocessing right, it will be really helpful for the country.
Yeah. So what are the major developments that we can expect over the next 2 or 3 years? What we should watch out for the news to be aware with regard to nuclear energy and development?
Look, in India,
Yes.
we will have fast breeder reactor ready. Second, it will have the increase in the number of fast breeder reactors. This is what we can see in next 2 to 3 years. Second, in the pressurized heavy water reactor category, means first stage. In the first stage, we will have a number of indigenous reactors producing at least 700 megawatts, maybe into India may join in 1000 plus category also capacity. Third development in the first stage, you can say, or in the pre fast breeder reactor stage, could be large number of countries supplying reactors to India. Large number, when I say large number, it doesn't mean hundreds of countries, but 4 to 5 countries. So far, only Russia has set up its shop in India. This is in Kudankulam. 2 reactors are operating, but we can see Jaitapur also getting some development. It may not be ready with its EPR, but at least some development we can see. Russia may also have other reactors in 2 other places, in 2 different places, one in Bengal, one in the same place. Then United States, Korea, Japan, at least these 3 countries, and will also join in with other countries, and they will start building the reactors. India is ready for that. The 4th development I see is that NPCIL will collaborate with many of the Indian public sector undertakings, and you will find a different kind of collaboration happening in the countries. Not only the association, or you can say organizations associated with Department of Atomic Energy participating in nuclear energy production, but also non-atomic energy departments or ministries participating in nuclear energy production. Indian Oil has already shown interest, and it has signed an MOU with NPCNS, Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Many other NTPC and other departments have organizations, public sector undertaking has also started participating. So there are at least 4 to 5 other public sector undertakings which are jointly working with the Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited in developing nuclear energy. So these are the broad or big picture which is emerging in the nuclear energy scenario in India. Globally, we can see the resurgence of nuclear energy. A new renaissance may take place because of the environmental reasons and maturing of technology of nuclear science, and it will prove cheaper in the long term, and it will be free from geopolitical considerations. You will have your own new kind of geopolitics or free from geopolitics. So this is the situation I see emerging in the near future in the world. France is at the back foot, so there could be new players, and the new players could be China, Russia, and to an extent Japan. Japan, if it's just shades its inhibition, then it will move forward. Otherwise, South Korea will be the leading supplier. So far, France was leading, but its companies are in trouble, in problem. Even Japanese companies are in trouble, but Japan can overcome if it decides to supply. And there is a big debate going on in the country. And if they overcome the shackles or the mindset of not supplying nuclear reactors, or if they start developing their own nuclear energy again, or if Japan starts relying for nuclear energy for its electricity again, I should say, then we will see a new change taking place in the world. Now traditional suppliers will pave the way for the new suppliers, and this could new suppliers, at least three I see on the horizon. One is China, second is South Korea, and third is Russia, which have got no inhibition and they have got no problem in pursuing the nuclear energy supply all over the world. United States, France, UK and Japan have got hesitation, although they have got technologies. So this is the situation I see.